Good morning everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on what is an absolutely fantastic atmospheric morning. We've got really fantastic conditions for being in a woodland. We've got some thick fog in the surrounding area, and it actually looks like it's coming in at the moment, so it really is wonderful to be out. But I'm really surprised that I'm out this morning actually. I'm really busy at the moment. I'm sure lots of us are, but I was up really late doing a lot of video editing, as I've been doing the last 2 to 3 days actually, and I managed to eventually get finished in the early hours. So that's a video that I'm getting ready for this weekend, and I've got lots of other stuff I need to do. I had stuff planned for today, so even though I thought there was a strong suspicion of fog this morning, I wasn't going to come out, but I decided you can't miss conditions like this, so I come out. And I think there's an important lesson there actually. If you're really busy or tired, you need to ask yourself, is there genuinely too much going on to be able to go out and take some photographs? Or if you give yourself a little push, a little nudge, can you find the energy to get out and still manage to do your other things? So even if I've to neglect some of those, I thought it was worth coming out today, and I'm really glad that I did. So anyway, I'm in the woodland, perfect place for conditions such as this. And at the beginning of the day, I headed into another area of this woodland. It's quite a large woodland, and it was really, really dark. A lot of closely packed trees, and there just wasn't enough light coming in. So I decided to reroute. I went to another area of the woodland, and this is the first shot that I'm capturing today. And yeah, it looks fantastic. So let's have a quick look at the composition. So what an absolutely fantastic morning to be out. It almost looks like the fog is enclosing in this area, so that would be fantastic if we get even more sensation of fog in this area. But it does tend to change. Fog can drift around, so it's something that's important to constantly monitor when you're taking your photographs. But this is a rough look at the composition that I'm working on at the moment. We're shooting video, it's a bit wider, possibly a different aspect ratio as well. But I was really drawn to a number of things in this scene. We've got this dead tree, which is almost like a hand reaching out from the bottom left of my image, almost offering support to this one here, which again is fantastic, full of character. We've got a supporting tree here, just coming in from what will be the right of the image. And then off in the distance, it's actually a little bit subdued at the moment, but you could definitely see light hitting those trees off in the distance. They're old, full of character, plenty of growth in them, and some delicate branches as well, which I really like. And then between these trees and those in the distance, we've got some foliage creeping in from the sides as well. But I really, really like it. It's just a fantastic atmospheric shot. We've got these wonderful long grasses in the foreground as well, and I'm trying to keep out of these areas, but there has been some things walked through there. I suspect it's deer. There's quite a few areas that are trodden down, so I suspect there's a lot of deer in this area, but this pathway here is very apparent when you stand looking at it, and it leads off into the distance, although the grass is slightly shorter behind me, so that's a nice leading line in my image as well. Lots of little details that I've spent a lot of time looking at and trying to decide on the best way to incorporate those in my composition. One thing that I do like is this fallen tree here, which the line of it is parallel to the outstretched branch at the base of the tree just behind it. So I like how those lines mirror each other. But yeah, what a fantastic morning. I'm so glad I came out. isn't this a beautiful tree just behind me here, and indeed a beautiful scene? I believe it's a beech tree, and we've got another tree just behind it, and they look beautiful and incredibly atmospheric in the foggy conditions that I've been fortunate enough to get today. But up until this point, I've really been struggling to find anything that I wanted to photograph today, or rather that I thought would work today and make a nice complete photograph. The reason for that is that deep in the woodland, where I found potentially 2 to 3 compositions that I was quite keen on, it was just incredibly dark. We've still got this tremendously thick summer canopy above the woodland, so that is blocking some of the light, and obviously with the fog today that is blocking more light, so it was just incredibly dark. And we all know how important light is in photography, so the scenes just wouldn't have worked today, but I'm keen to return to those another time. So I've been hunting around trying to find something that would work, that has got some nice light on it, and I've certainly found that here. I've been looking for areas in which there's a bit more gaps in the canopy so the light that we've got today can come through. And as you'll see on this scene behind me, it's been nicely side lit at the moment, so the sun, although I can't see it, it's thick fog, is up in this direction, and it's producing some wonderful soft light on the scene just behind me here. So I really like it. I think it works fantastically well, and I've been really excited to photograph this one. We've also got some slender trees here just to the right, and I just love the look of the scene. It almost looks like a timeless scene. I can't really put an age on these trees. It just looks like a classic beautiful woodland scene in the fog. So that's what drew me to it, and glad I've eventually found it, because the woodland's been rather dark and gloomy for photography up until this point. As the saying goes, doesn't time fly when you're having fun? That's certainly been the case for me today. I've taken a very limited number of photographs today, but I've been out for quite a few hours, so as I mentioned earlier, I've got quite a lot to do, so I now need to head home and get some of that work done. But it's been an absolute joy and a pleasure. It's always a fantastic experience to explore a woodland in these atmospheric foggy conditions. I really don't get this enough. I would like to get it more and experience this a bit more, but whenever I can, I'm always keen to get out and try and make the most of it. And I think that's the message I'd like to leave you with today. As I said earlier in the video, sometimes we just need to give ourselves a little nudge and head out. Just evaluate how many things we've got going on, and if you think there's a chance you can make it out, grab your camera and go out and take some photographs. You won't regret it. But as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon for another one.